Hello everyone, my name is Sumit. Today we will discussing about the a clinical trial agreement and a clinical trial disclosure. So first we can discuss about the a clinical trial agreement. A clinical trial agreement or a clinical study agreement is a legally binding agreement that governs the conduct of particular study and sets forth the obligation of each party to the agreement. Parties to the clinical trial or study agreements include the participant site, the study sponsor, and the relevant clinical research organization, that is CROs. So, why do we need a clinical trial agreement? A clinical trial agreement is required when we are conducting a clinical study with another party, including industry and an academic partner or a clinical research organization. We use the clinical trial agreement to define study specific details such as the number of subjects to be enrolled, ownership of the study data and samples, any intellectual property rights, publication rights, and the other matters pertaining to the study. If there is funding involved, the agreement clearly defines how much will be paid and when. In case of industry sponsor studies such as regulatory studies for the investigational new drugs or the device, post market, observational, or a certain registry studies, the sponsor or its clinical research organization will provide an initial draft of clinical trial agreement. Then we will discuss about the clinical trial disclosure. A clinical trial disclosure refers to the process of making information about the clinical trials publicly available. This typically includes the details about the trial's design, objectives, result, and any adverse event. Transparency in clinical trial disclosure is essential for the ensuring the safety of participants, advancing the scientific knowledge, and the building trust in the healthcare system. It also helps healthcare professional, researchers, and to the patients make informed decisions about the treatments and the interventions. Various regulations and platforms exist to facilitate the disclosure of a clinical trials information, such as clinicaltrials.government and the WHO International Clinical Trials Registry platform. The purpose of the clinical trial disclosure is multifaceted and serves several important goals like transparency. Clinical trial disclosure promotes the transparency by making the information about the clinical trials available to the public. This transparency helps to build the trust in the medical and as well as the researcher communities. Then next is patient safety. It is a crucial for the patient safety by disclosing trial details including adverse event and the safety concern. Healthcare professionals can make informed decision about the treatments and the interventions. The next goal is scientific advancement. Disclosure allows the researchers to assess and analyze the trial result. This facilitates the advancement of scientific knowledge, helping to identify an effective treatments and the interventions. Then next goal is ethical standards. It upholds ethical standards in the research. Transparency ensure that the researchers conduct trial with the integrity and the adhere to the ethical principles, preventing data manipulation or the bias system. Then next goal is informed decision making. Clinical trial disclosure empowers the healthcare professional and the patient to make the informed decision about the treatment options. The next goal is regulatory compliance. Many countries and regional have the regulation requiring the disclosure of a clinical trial information. The next goal is public accountability. Disclosure holds researchers and the organization accountable for their research practices. The next goal is avoiding the duplication. Disclosure helps to prevent the duplication of the clinical trials, ensuring that the resources are used efficiently and that researchers are aware of existing studies in their field. This is all about the clinical trial agreement and clinical trial disclosure. Thank you.